Alright, so we're treating stains today in this pool. Got obviously a bad stain there. It's right in front of the return jet. Bad stain on this side. Obviously the sun and the shadows are kind of making it hard to see, but there's the return jet. Another bad stain right here. So these stains, they come from metals in the water. A lot of times in these salt pools, your total dissolved solids get really high, and you end up with metal staining. Not get too much into the chemistry today, but try to help you guys remove stains from your pools. So I've already done a bunch of prep work, and to get this stuff to work, you really want to set yourself up for success. So follow the instructions on the box. This is A+ stain remover, and what it wants you to do is lower the chlorine level to 0.3 ppm. So I came out early this morning and I tested the chlorine level. It was 4.5. So I brought some neutralizer, which is thiosulfate, and I treated the pool to neutralize the chlorine down to approximately 0.5 part per million. I also brought with me a See You Later, which is like it's a type of mineral pack that absorbs metals from the water. And I charged the cartridge filter with a product called Jack's filter fiber stuff, which is a DE substitute, but they claim that it will absorb metals and stuff like that from the water. So we charged the cartridge filter with that, following the instructions on the bag as far as dosages. And our hope is to remove the stains, which when you remove the stains off the surface, the metals just go back into the water. And then we're going to try to remove the metals from the water so the stains don't return. So now that I've done the prep work, I can start to actually put the product on the stains, and I'll show you how that goes. Alright, so this particular product, I don't really measure. I'm going to just use the bare minimum that I need. I'm going to break up all these little chunks and get it into like a fine powder. I'm going to use the bare minimum. We'll start back here where it's the darkest. I've got the pump off so the water's not moving, and I want this stuff to just land on the stain. I'm trying to keep the camera on the stain and get a little bit more in my lid here. I'm gonna see it start working. This stain is gonna disappear completely, pretty much right before your eyes here. The trick is keeping it away. The trick is to get the stain to not come back. That's the hard part. You can see the stain looks a whole lot better already. We're just using the bare minimum of this product. Trying to just get it to settle down on the surface there. Step back a little bit. You can see that stain is very much improved. Let's go to the other side of the pool. We have that other stain over here. This one's gonna be a little harder because it's larger. I got some chunks to break up. me just drop this one little tiny chunk here. Oh, it dissolved. Just show you real quick. Now all these chunks are breaking up. I was gonna drop a little chunk and show you how well it worked, but we're gonna. The wind is kind of messing it up. I'm trying to get my. You can actually see the stain just disappear where the stuff hit. So I'm trying to get a nice even application. You see the spotting of where the application was. This stuff is a very, very fine powder. When it's a windy day like today, it's kind of difficult. You can see the streaks, but that shows how good the stuff works. You just have to be careful to try to avoid streaking. You can use enough of this product to treat the whole pool. Problem with that is it really makes it difficult for the pool to hold chlorine for a while after the treatment, and it's a catch-22 because if you shock the pool, for some reason the stains want to come back, and this product tells you not to shock the pool after after treating it. But you're starting with a low chlorine reading as it is. It wants you down to 0.5, and then it seemingly wipes out the chlorine and almost makes it hard to hold a residual. So kind of difficult product to use, but we're just gonna try to get this stuff where we want it and not use the whole container. I don't have a tripod or anything. I'm just trying to show you guys what I'm doing here. I'm gonna let that work and go back to the other side. All right, this looks great. The little bit of discoloration on the camera is actually mostly just a shadow, because it's kind of like a divot. They've got kind of a cutout where that nozzle goes. So that actually looks better to the eye than it does on this camera. Let's move around so you can see the shadows. So I don't think I'm going to use any more product on this side. Let's go back over. Check this other side. Yeah, it looks really good. So there's one little streak right there. So I'm gonna grab some more product. And there's different products on the market. You don't have to use this product. Alright, see, there's one little streak right there. I'll try to get this product right on there. You gotta kind of guess. There's always a little bit of motion in the water. You gotta kind of guess where your product's gonna land. Looked like it was going down and to the right a little bit, so I think that's a direct hit. Okay, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. All right. So now all I gotta do is come back every day for about a week, because the tricky part is keeping the chlorine low but making sure it doesn't wipe out. We don't want the chlorine to go to zero. We don't want it to get too high. It's pretty tricky, as you pool owners know, to keep a chlorine at an exact level, especially if that level is 0.5 parts per million. That's why we usually keep the chlorine higher, because there's more room for error. It can go down, it can go up a little bit, and it's okay. But for now, I'm gonna brush this pool, I'm gonna crank it back up, and I'll be back to check on it tomorrow. Okay, I'm back at the pool the next day, checking everything out. Looks even better than it did yesterday. It's a big shadow on it. And I'm gonna follow up to this pool every day to make sure that the chlorine doesn't get high. We don't want to rechlorinate the pool for about 48 hours. I don't want it to hit zero, but I'm trying to keep it at that half a part, so 0.5 ppm. I checked it and it's at like a quarter of a part ppm right now, so we're gonna leave it alone. Gonna brush it and we'll follow up again tomorrow. But I don't expect to have any problems out of it as long as I can keep it at the right chlorine level and I don't have to shock it or do anything drastic to it in the next few weeks. And then once we've gotten to the point where I feel like the metals have been filtered out by the media, then we'll take the cartridges out and we'll clean the DE filter fiber media off of them, and the process should be complete. But here are the results after the stain treat. Looks good. Well, there's not much else to say about this. It's pretty much complete, the stain removal process. I hope it was satisfying to you guys. Just a quick rundown. I followed the instructions on the A+ stain remover. I added a mineral pouch to the filter pump, which is called a CU later. The letter CU later. It absorbs metals from the water. And I used filter fiber media from Jack's Magic to make the filtration on the cartridge filter more fine, so it's finally filtering more stuff out of the water. And soon we're going to be cleaning the cartridges and getting all that stuff out. So we're trying to remove all the metals from the water, and followed the instructions very closely on the A+ stain remover, and we had good results.